Imagine a world where the landmass is never separated. All of humanity lives on Pangea, but that isn't the only difference. This is black and white. Before we get to the plot, no, this is not your average teen love triangle dystopian future novel. Naughts and Crosses touches serious subject matter while kicking major butt. While blacks thrived creating new technology and advancing their race, whites were subjected to slavery and discrimination. These races became known as Naughts and Crosses. Naughts are the pale-skinned, the nothings, the blankers with blank faces and minds. These people are the second class, the ones scrounging at the bottom. Crosses are the dark-skinned elite class. Ever since the beginning, their skin color has given them an advantage. They are closer to God. They have subjected all Naughts to endless slavery. It was only a few decades ago that the serfdom has come to an end in a few locations. But even in those societies, Naughts are still degraded. The novel starts off years ago with two families that were friends. The first family is the Hadleys, rich, privileged, and black. Kamal is a prominent political figurehead, and his wife Jasmine is the perfect trophy wife, although trust really isn't their thing. They have two daughters, Persephone, or Sephi, and Minerva, or Minnie. The McGregors, the second white and poor family, is made up by Maggie, Jasmine's servant maid, and Ryan McGregor, along with their three kids, Lynette, Jude, and Callum. The households are buddy-buddy until a small conflict resulting in domestic violence gets Maggie McGregor jobless and the two families mortal enemies. But as the family's relationship comes to an end, Callum and Sephi find ways to remain friends. But as they grow older, their simple kid-like friendship turns into something a little more. Fast forward a few years, and the true story begins. Brainiac Callum, along with a few other Naughts, have passed the entrance exam to get into Heathcroft High, the most elite high school in the country, and the same school Sephi goes to. The thing is, no blanker was supposed to be smart enough to be there. Let's just say a majority of the Crosses were angry about Naught presence and were willing to get violent about it. Very violent. While that was going on, family drama was unfolding in the Hadley household. The wife, Jasmine, was turning out to be a gossip magazine-addicted drunk, and her marriage with Kamal wasn't the best. Let's just say there might be a mistress on the sidelines. It doesn't even matter anyway, because all Kamal Hadley seemed to care about was his political career and his upcoming election as Prime Minister. Things in the McGregor house are even worse. Lynette, Callum's sister, has a mental instability that puts brother against sister in pretty violent ways. Not only that, but Callum's friendship with Sephi, as well as his schooling, makes the rest of his family pretty jealous. The final piece of this puzzle is the Liberation Militia. They're underground, using any means necessary to bring rights and voices to the Naughts of the world. This violent terrorist group is mysterious, dangerous, and always looking for new, young soldiers. The nature of their influence is debatable. Some see them as a threat, some prize them. The question is, who will be their next new members? The author, Malorie Blackman, uses the great challenges and difficulties faced by her characters to bring up a very prevalent point in today's society. Discrimination still happens in many parts of the world. In fact, the author, an African-American woman, used her own experiences for the novel. All we really can say is, read the book. And don't be racist. But you actually have to pick up the book to find the answers to your looming questions. Like, for those romance lovers, will Callum and Sephi ever be together? What will the Liberation Militia do next? Will equal rights ever be achieved? Was this book just a 386-page rant about the author's experiences from being African American? And most important, is there really a difference between black and white?